Coming up, the mystery of bog bodies, a day in the life of a field archaeologist, and a flint-knapper's guide to prehistoric tools. Welcome to Time Team News, your monthly look at archaeology news and discoveries from Britain and across the globe. And welcome to our brand new midweek slot. It's another busy episode, and stick with us to the end for news of Time Team's upcoming Dig Watch. I caught up with Time Team's Prof Henry Chapman about his latest research on bog bodies, human bodies preserved in peat bogs across Northern Europe. This item contains images of bog bodies, so some people may want to skip to the next news section. These peat wetland environments provide perfect conditions for preservation, and as peat is a traditional source of fuel, many of the bodies have been discovered by chance over the years by peat cutters. Typically from the Iron Age, many bog bodies are concentrated in Denmark, like the famous Tollen Man and Elling Woman from the Jutland Peninsula, but notable examples have also been found across the UK and Ireland. Various theories have been put forward as to why they were deposited in bogs, ranging from executions to high-ranking and perhaps even willing sacrificial victims. Henry's research has taken a new approach to shed light on these mysterious burials.
People have always looked at the body itself. You know, the last meal's often preserved, the injuries and all that. But nobody's really looked at the landscape context. And what I mean by that is where in the bog was it at the time? You know, was it on the edge? Was it in the middle? You know, what's the bog like? Was it really hard to get across? Was it open with very few trees, or was it hidden? You know, because all these things, I think, help us answer that question. So been looking at a variety of bogs in the UK and in Denmark, where bog bodies have been found, and trying to assess those landscapes. Now, quite often there's not much peat in these areas. We might find bits to sample, and from that we can, see, environmental archaeology is reconstructing past environments.
Henry's research has identified key differences between UK and Danish bog bodies, highlighting that the circumstances of death can't all be treated the same with sweeping conclusions.
We're finding that in England, for example, is very, very different to Denmark. Yeah, in England, so for example, Linde Man is in the British Museum. He was placed in possibly the hardest to get to location you can get on that bog, in atrocious conditions when the bog was really wet, in a very open landscape. So it's probably killed in a very flamboyant, sort of theatrical way. It would have been very visible, but he had to have walked where he died. They couldn't have carried a body, it was too dangerous. So all of that happened in a very theatrical sense in the middle of the bog where he was placed. In contrast, the Danish examples are much more frequently associated with what had been previously economic landscapes. So where people had been peat cutting in the Iron Age. And they at that point they're digging peat in pits. So if you imagine these pits, the size of these pits are kind of how much you could dig in a day. Okay. Because they fill in with water overnight and then you can't dig them. So they're that sort of size. And what seems to happen in Denmark is that they have these economic landscapes where they've got lots of these peat cuttings. And then they sort of infill and they sort of get left for a while, maybe a few years. And then they're revisited. But that's the places where they're then placing bodies into them, killing them and then place them into these peat cuttings. So very, very different to the English examples. And I think that's a really big headline.
And bodies aren't the only items to be discovered in peat bogs of Northern Europe. Other deliberately placed deposits have been found, including dismantled chariots and the magnificent Gunstrup cauldron.
I think the most important thing is actually the importance of specific bogs. So I think for a long time we've been thinking about bog bodies as a general thing or as individuals, but actually I think if you look at it as a particular bog and understand how that bog worked with communities and what's happening in that area, not stopping at the wetland edge but thinking about what's happening in the dryland, looking at that relationship through time seems to be the key to understanding a lot of what's happening. It's not just telling us about the bog bodies, it's telling us about those societies in a much, much richer way.
To find out more about Henry's research, we've put a link to his various publications below. And my full extended chat with Henry will be going up on Patreon. Next up, an incredible discovery found off the coast of Sicily, a complete and well-preserved bronze battering ram dating to around 2,200 years ago to the 3rd century BCE. This deadly weapon, known as a rostrum, would have been mounted on the front of an ancient warship and used to ram enemy ships, causing their ultimate destruction and sinking. One of several similar examples discovered over the years, it's thought that this rostrum is testament to a legendary naval battle fought between ancient Rome and Carthage. The Battle of the Aegates Islands in 241 BCE off the northwest coast of Sicily was a face-off between Rome and Carthage for naval supremacy of the Mediterranean. With Rome winning the battle, it was a decisive action that ended the First Punic War. Events from classical antiquity can feel so distant and steeped in mythology, yet physical finds such as these are tangible evidence of a very real and colourful time in history. The find was announced by Sicily's superintendents of the sea via social media. We've put a link to that original post in the box below. Even the most casual of Time Team viewers will know how excited an archaeologist can get by finding even the smallest bit of worked flint. Our book of the month, the Flint Tools Field Guide by Robert Turner, is a brand new guide to help you recognise and identify prehistoric tools. And remember, if you do find worked tools, it's important to record them with an archaeologist or at your local museum. Now, Bob is a flint-knapper who runs courses at Butser Iron Age Village and a member of the Lithic Society.
Hi everyone, this is my book. I'm Bob Turner. This book is all about how you can find flint in the fields and how you can identify it and perhaps even date it. So what you can do is you can find out exactly whether you've got a piece of struck flint or whether you've got a tool or whether you've got both, which would be absolutely lovely. There's lots of illustrations, and to help you towards the end of the book, there's lots and lots of pictures. I mean, the sort of thing that I'm talking about, I mean, would anyone actually have ever picked that up? I mean, it is just a rotten old marley lump of flint, but it's a tool. This is a late Bronze Age scraper, believe it or not. And that edge there would have been used like this to clean the back of skins.
And it turns out Bob is no stranger to Time Team. His credits include Sussex Ups and Downs from Series 13.
Oh, well, the biggest one that we did was when we did Black Patch, which is on the Downs just above Worthing. And that is flint mines. But the nice thing with what Phil found was he found a little lemonade bottle because it had been excavated back in the early part of last century, and someone had left their lemonade bottle, and he was very, very pleased to have found this. And if you ever go into Worthing Museum, it's on show there. What I'm talking in the book is I've actually shown you how microliths work, which is compound tools or composite tools made from little bits of flint, barbed and tanged arrowheads, chisel-shaped arrowheads, leaf-shaped arrowheads, ovates, all sorts of arrowheads that can be found. Awls, axes, going down choppers, chisels, cleavers. So there's a big list of tools. I mean, the book is this size because it's meant to either go in your pocket or you can put it in the front pocket of your bag when you're walking around, and it's there and it's available for you anytime you like. Perhaps you'll find a piece of flint. Now, for me, it's magic, and I'm sure for you, it could be magic as well.
The Flint Tools Field Guide is available now from the History Press, and Sussex Ups and Downs is on the Time Team Classics channel.
Archaeologists have been unable to retrace where he was at the time.
Next up, a day in the life of a field archaeologist, direct from the field.
I'm here in Earlsbourton, Northamptonshire. And we're on a quarry site, but right now we've got archaeologists on site, we've got PCA and PCAS, and we're looking for an Iron Age settlement. As a commercial archaeologist, we usually go in before roads or before houses, but a little known fact is that we actually also go in before quarries are excavated. So right here, we're part of Storefield Aggregates Quarry, and this is going to be a gravel quarry, but first we're going to go in and record the history. So let's check out the Iron Age settlement. This site is quite a typical Iron Age settlement. We've got large enclosure ditches like this, we have some roundhouse enclosures as well, and then we have a pit alignment, which is a really cool feature on Iron Age sites. So you can see this series of pits here. All of these pits are marking a boundary just like the enclosure ditches do. So this pit, if we take a closer look at it, it's an example of all of the pits here in this alignment. What we've got is a pit cut into the natural and then silted up, recut again, silted up, recut again, and this happened over and over because people wanted to keep using these pits as part of the boundary. So someone would have cut this original pit, it would have silted up, and then somebody recut it again where you can see these stones in a line here, and then it's silted up again and again after that. So this here is our site plan, and this is what we work off of when we're digging on the site. It tells us what the whole site looks like, we can kind of reanalyze features, and then we can also figure out what slots we want to dig next. And so when you look at this, you can see the enclosure ditches all the way across. You can also see the pit alignment, and you can see roundhouses. And if you start to think about this settlement, if you imagine it in your head, you can imagine that there's these wattle and daub houses for, one room, with smoke in the middle going up from the fire up to the thatched roof. It'd be a really nice little, kind of like a farmstead at this point, is the way that we can picture it. We've got these enclosure ditches that were probably for managing livestock. We've also, over in this corner, we managed to find a burial. And this burial was really unique for burials if you look across all of history, but quite a typical burial when it comes to the Iron Age. So there's been analysis that ancient Britons created atypical burials during the Iron Age. They had this special connection to the dead, and they would sometimes dig up corpses and then rebury them. So this right here was likely a disused storage pit, and somebody took the body and put the partially together bits of the body back into the storage pit. And so we've just done basic analysis in the field, and it is an adult. But besides that, we're going to end up taking these bones back into the lab and looking at them a bit more and finding out what more information we can figure out from them. So Jordan has just finished cleaning up this slot. This is another one of those boundary ditches, and you can see the recutting here. So on this side, we've got quite a pale color to it, and this is the original ditch. This is just some silting up that's created this nice light color. And now we've got a bit more of a dumped layer here. After it's been recut, these dark layers have come in, and these are filled with fines, filled with pottery and some animal bone as well. So these are some of the finds we're getting within the slots. We've got some sheep or goat animal bone here. We've got some other bones, larger bones. And then we've also got quite a bit of pottery turning up, especially from these darker fills. So we have some coarser ware that's from the earlier Iron Age. And then we've got some more decorated pieces. And these would have been from maybe the middle, a bit more refined in the middle of the Iron Age. Right, better get back to it before it silts up again.
Last month, we discussed a big story to hit the global headlines, a possible Scottish origin for the altar stone at Stonehenge. Well, since then, a new report has been published in the Journal of Archaeological Science that rules out mainland Orkney as a possible source. The new report's authors carried out extensive tests on the standing stones from the Ring of Brodgar, the stones of Stonehenge, and field samples from mainland Orkney, as well as the altar stone from Stonehenge. But when compared, the altar stone didn't match. The report concludes that the Stonehenge altar stone wasn't sourced from mainland Orkney, so the search for its origins continues. And we've put the links to both journal articles below. Congratulations to Lawrence Shaw and Harry Manley, who've just completed an epic 250-mile bike ride from Waterloo Station in London to the Battle of Waterloo site in Belgium. They completed their journey in honour of Waterloo Uncovered, a charity that supports veterans and serving personnel from the armed forces via battlefield archaeology.
We bring veterans out to the battlefield of Waterloo to do the practical archaeology, support them with their well-being and hope to educate them and others about what happened here.
What's more, they filmed their escapades as a video travel-log, especially for Time Team. And we'll be bringing that full story soon, along with coverage of this year's Waterloo Uncovered dig.
This is day 3 of our field season in 2024, and we've returned to Mont Saint-Jean, which is the farm which during the battle was Wellington's main field hospital.
So far, Lawrence and Harry have raised well over £2,000, and there's still a chance to donate now if you wish, using the link below. And other Time Team news, there's even more ways to get your archaeology fix. We've started releasing Series 19 on YouTube. And Episode 1, Dig by Wire, is available now worldwide for free on the Time Team Classics channel. And we'll be releasing an episode every month in the traditional Sunday evening slot.
Dani! Hello. Dani. Hello. Have a look at this stuff.
Oh, wow, this is exciting.
Tell me about it.
This is like Christmas, isn't it?
And at first glance, I mean, it'd be nice to get this cleaned up and washed, but it does look like it's Roman.
Yay!
Well, that was a memorable episode. Ziplining and archaeology. You don't forget that in a hurry. What's more, our brand new Time Team podcast has launched, and it's available to listen to now on a range of platforms including Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Helen Geek and Martin Williams are joined by guests to discuss the world of archaeology. Plus, our Patreon members have the opportunity to ask them questions too. The podcast is released every fortnight on a Tuesday, and we've put the links to these below. As you watch this, the team are busy sharpening our trowels and packing our bags, ready for the next Time Team dig. This one is back to our roots for a traditional 3-day excavation, and I personally cannot wait. We're heading to the village of Norton Disney in Lincolnshire, the ancestral home seat of the Disney family. The village recently made the headlines for the discovery of a Roman dodecahedron, a rare and enigmatic object found in Roman Gaul and Britain, whose exact purpose remains unknown. But what do you think it was used for? Let us know in the comments. However, the focus of our excavation will be searching for the medieval manor house of the Disney family. The episode will be broadcast on YouTube early next year, but Patreon members can follow us as it happens on DigWatch. DigWatch is our behind-the-scenes show, transmitted direct from the field during the making of the episode. It provides a unique window into an archaeological excavation and film shoot as the weekend progresses, with trench tours, exclusive interviews and Q&As with the team. Well, it's starting to feel slightly autumnal here in the UK now, with the golden sunlight shining through the trees. Thoughts are turning to harvest, and for me, apple picking and cider making. I'll be catching up with my very good friend Naomi Supol for one of our seasonal chats soon, looking at archaeological themes with an autumnal twist, so join us over on Patreon for that. Well, that's all for this month. Please do remember that additional content from Time Team News can be found over on our Patreon channel, including 3D models and extended interviews. And please do remember to subscribe and press that notification bell to receive all the latest updates. Well, thank you for watching. That's all from me for this month, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Join Time Team on Patreon to access exclusive 3D models, masterclasses and behind-the-scenes insights.